What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to some NHL gameplay. But today we're not talking about NHL 19. We're talking about NHL 20. And as I teased in the tweet that went out earlier today, we have a special guest. He's with us now. It is my brother, Chris. How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm pretty pumped. I'm not gonna lie. This trailer has me pretty hyped.
Yes, so as he said, we're reviewing the NHL, or not 19, wow, the NHL 20 trailer. It just came out today for us. As for you guys, it'll probably be a couple days since I'm probably going to upload it in a day or two. But so far, we've both watched the trailer, got some good things about it, potentially a couple bad things. But Chris, what's the kind of the first thing that stood out for you?
I mean, the first thing that stood out to me, because it was the first real thing of significance that they talked about in the video, was the signature shots. Obviously, I guess chronologically that's what stood out. But to me, overall, what really stood out to me was the intelligence saves. I don't know if you want to jump into that now or kind
Yeah,
of go in
go ahead.
order of the trailer. All right, so the intelligence saves, at least based on what the little blurb at the top of the trailer has. Um, it looks really interesting, and I'm really glad that they brought this into the game. I think it was definitely really needed in NHL 19, but I'm not going to get into past stuff now. That's irrelevant. Going forward, so in NHL 20, with even more alumni players joining the game, I think it's going to be a lot more fun to play for this reason and this main reason only is that in the article they posted on their website, it specifically mentions how goalies will be better based on their attributes. Obviously, everyone knows, especially like in Hockey Ultimate Team, the go-to was to just have the tallest goalie you could possibly find. Usually, if he was higher rated, he was better. But I specifically remember one point where I was looking through like the leaderboards on Hut, and like some dude in the top 100 was running base Matt Murray, and I'm talking this was like in May. He was still running base Matt Murray, which is like an 81 overall, and was just dominant with him. People have said that you got to play better defense, but I won't get into that. Anyways, the save animations in the trailer looked fantastic. Specifically to me, the ones with Devin Dubnik really stuck out. There's one, the first one, he like a puck trickles back behind him, and then he dives back on it, but not just dives with his body. He specifically reaches back with his glove and then kind of falls on it. So I think that's huge. And then one animation in 19 that I've seen a lot is if somebody shoots high on your goalie, they'll do this like awkward shrug animation, like they're playing soccer almost. Is kind of what it makes me think of. Like they have to shoulder the ball or the puck away, and in the trailer, it seemed that Dubnik, the goalie that was used, was able to catch it or like block it with his body and then hold on to it in the middle of his chest, which I think is going to be huge. I think you're going to see goalies that are a lot better all over the place, but obviously especially with higher ratings like in Hockey Ultimate Team. And I think you're going to see a lot less of loose pucks in the crease, basically. I know that's been a huge problem like the past couple of years, especially with loose pucks in the crease. Then you can just crash the net and somehow it'll go in, whether it's your own player, the goalie, an opposing player, whatever. It didn't matter. And then the last thing I want to touch on for goalies is with rebound control. I think that's going to be huge as well. Obviously, one of the effective ways to score in 19 has been shoot it low, far side, and your guy is going to skate onto the puck, and he'll be able to, at the very least, get a shot on net, and more often than not, probably score. So I think rebound control is going to be huge. But I think I want people to be cautious with that, because if you shoot the puck low, far side, 10 times, there are going to be two, three, and then with the lower rated goalies, maybe four, five, 6 times where the goalie's not able to successfully redirect that puck away from the opposing player. So you still will see rebound goals. I have this fear that people are going to think that you can never score on a rebound, and I just don't think that's going to be true at all. So I want people to be cautious specifically about that part because, as we've seen, nothing is really consistent, similar to real life in a video game, despite whether you want it to be or not. So I'm worried that people will take EA a little too literally with what they say and expect things they say to happen every single time when that just won't be true.
Yeah, definitely agree. And I'm gonna throw the screenshot of what he's kind of talking about on the screen. But one paragraph that we kind of both touched on when we were talking before the video was, and I'll quote it and put it on the screen. With these new tools, goalie differentiation, whatever that word is, by skill will be even more apparent. Some of the best goalies will be able to hang on to or direct harder shots with little reaction time, while weaker goalies may still give up juicy rebounds on shots they could have handled. So it sounds like it's a little bit going to be a little bit more balanced rather than, like you said, instead of that like 5, 6, 7 times you shoot to that far side and you're going to get a goal. Now it seems to be a little bit more balanced, and also kind of sounds like when you have a better goalie, it sounds like they're going to be playing better, which is like, crucial, because you don't want, like you said earlier, one of the top people was rocking a base Matt Murray. He was, 81 overall, I think you said? You don't want that. You want those 99 cards. You want those 94 cards. Like, whatever those top goalies are, you want to play with them. Like, I don't want to have to run I know I was rocking, an 84 Ben Bishop for, half the year. Like, I don't want to use Ben Bishop. Like, in my opinion, he's not one of the, he's not that elite goalie in the league, but he's still a really good goalie, but I don't want to use that 84. I want to use those higher overall cards, especially when this past year you saw all of these Hut Legends and everything that you can get by scoring 1,000 goals or whatever, and then you earn your way up and you get a 95, what was it, Grant Fur or whatever, but then he was trash. So it doesn't make sense. So hopefully that's a little bit more balanced now. The other thing I think you said, animations are supposed to be better, a little bit more intelligent, and a little bit smarter, hopefully. But we talked a lot about goalies. Let's kind of go into the skating system. I didn't really go too much into it, but the biggest.
Sorry to cut you off. One more thing I wanted to touch on with the goalies. I mentioned with all the alumni players, and I kind of left that point. What I was going to say, or what I should have said at the time, was I know in Hockey Ultimate Team you see a lot of these legend goalies, and a lot of them are really short, under 6 foot. I'm seeing guys roll across my screen like Bill Ranford. You mentioned Grant Fuhr, Andy Moog, Terry Sawchuk. All these guys were below 6 foot tall goalies. So even despite their higher rated cards in Hockey Ultimate Team, like you said, they were trash because you just shoot anywhere high on them and they'd rarely make a save. So I think that's going to be another big thing to look for in a Hockey Ultimate Team specifically, but also throughout the other game modes, like you said, with overall playing more of a factor than height as opposed to this year where it was the opposite.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. We want to use good cards, not, base cards, 7 months into the game. But anything else on goalies? You want to move on to skating?
No, yeah, sorry. I'm good. I just had to cut you off for that one last point because I was thinking about it. Go ahead.
All right. So, new skating system. It kind of mixes right in with the point that's kind of after that. But explosive strides are kind of now a thing to where if you pass the puck, they're not going to kind of slow down or kind of, what's the right word, get rid of your momentum skating. Now there's supposed to be, you're going to put that big word in there, supposed to be better puck pickups that are a little bit more seamless in this game. Now, as both Chris and I have seen over time, they've always improved it, and it's always been trash. Half the time, you cannot pick up the puck at all. Passes go right by you, it seems like. They don't even have a animation that even tries for it. And it's just overall, you gotta pick it up. It's right next to you. At least, sometimes they, hit it with their stick. If they don't pick it up perfectly, it bounces off their stick and goes, just say to the right, and then they pick it up from there, and then they go into the zone, or skate through the neutral zone, or out of their defensive zone, or whatever. It's been improved so many times. Is it finally the year that it comes true?
Josh, this is one thing that I'm definitely reserved. I'm reserving my excitement about, because we've been promised better puck pickups since like 1743. So I don't know if this is going to be the year or not. Obviously, as we said before we started recording, they're going to show the good stuff in the video. They're not going to show the bad things about their game. That's just it just counters logic. It wouldn't make any sense. So what I saw in the trailer specifically, with the explosive transitions as they've called it, um, looked fantastic. Um, I think, as we've seen in NHL 19, your player stops or will have an awkward animation. Or I know, I've seen so often, watching different content, like people who use Zdeno Chara specifically, but also other bigger defensemen that are kind of clunkier. They won't exactly be able to pick up the puck right away. And I know like people had big problems with Chara picking up the puck when the face-off was won to him. So I'm hoping different things like that will be better improved. And I think when you talk about better puck pickups, what it really comes down to is the physical movement and animation of the player itself. And I think, as it appears, they've done a better job adding literally just better human like movements to the game, instead of doing sort of a robot to pick up the puck. Like you said before, you see so often players will skate over the puck, they'll hit it with their stick, um, different things like that. But like if I have the puck on my player's stick, I've had times where I'm like the puck is on my stick and my player, like I'm controlling that player, but I don't have control of the puck. So it's just like a loose puck that's hitting my stick, and I've had it fly out of the zone, for example, when I'm just trying to pick up the puck, like simply pick it up, like I'm skating to it, and it won't let me control the puck. So I'm seeing and I'm hoping and I'm thinking that's going to be better this year, just simply based on the player movement specifically. Um, it also it caters to the more modern real life game, which I know they really tried to jump into last year, or well, I guess this year with 19, but technically last year. Um, they really wanted to make the gameplay geared towards what the real life modern NHL looks like. I think they did a good job in the beta, sort of acknowledging that more of the defense is being played with the stick, a little less with the body, like it was 10 years ago. But then when they started to tinker with the gameplay, bumps became more prevalent, especially for us Xbox users. Hitting became more prevalent, and you saw less and less stick checking, except for the people who would spam poke check or stick lift. You saw it become less effective. And I'm hoping this year that stick checks become more effective, and maybe equally as effective as body checking, or maybe even more effective, because like I said, I think nowadays defense is played more with the stick as opposed to the body. But it also adheres to the speed of the modern game, and I think and hope that's going to play a huge role in this year's game. But I'm just excited to see the player movement, which we saw a little bit going into the contextual and signature shots as well.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. You skate, like the puck goes back in your zone, right? They send it down, they want to get a line change. You go to skate to the puck and get it and, bring it back up the ice. You run right into it, you run into the boards, the guy comes off the forward check, absolutely crushes you, and then boom, they have a goal. And then you get upset, you rage, you yell at your top of your lungs, and then it's just like, well, we've been leading up to this for a long time. But I'm kind of ready to move on to the next thing. Actually, no, we're not. Stick mechanics. This is something that this year, the defensive skill stick, I was kind of, really excited for. Because, it was like the first thing of its kind, really, other than, there was poke checks, there was stick lifts. But there was that one thing that you could actually move your stick now. But if you even think about using it, you're going to get a tripping penalty. And it kind of became irrelevant. Unless you literally used it when the guy was 40 feet away from you. But overall, did really not enjoy it this year, especially with, I wanted to use a defensive skill stick, become, pretty good defensively. Then bumping, like you said, has become Like, you can hit a guy like 9 times in a row, and then he picks up the puck, and then, you know, whatever else happens. But like, I don't want to play like that. Like, I want to be able to, you know, play hockey rather than just like what are those things? Bumper cars. Like no, it's just not fun. But the other thing you kind of mentioned was the signature shots a little while ago. This one I'm not overly excited for, but I kind of am at the same time because it kind of gives everyone their own kind of unique look. But after like so long, you know, it's just gonna be another thing that's, you know, a hyped up feature, but no one's gonna care about it. And like after the game comes out, after about 2 months, nobody's gonna care about this. You know, that's just kind of my opinion. We kind of covered goalies. One thing was also mentioned in the trailer was bad passes. Not necessarily bad passes, but passes that aren't necessarily on, you know, where they want to or where you want them to be. Now they're gonna kind of have it so no matter what that shot is, if it's a bad pass, it's gonna lead to a more, you know, less powerful, a less accurate shot rather than the same shot if it was perfectly, you know, right on your dinner plate. Now, if you pass it well, you get a good shot. You get a nice, hard, like clean, accurate shot, and I'm kind of really excited for that.
Josh, I'm going to go back to the signature shots you mentioned. I think with the different player mechanics, the signature shots are going to be interesting. But on top of watching the trailer, I also saw Nasher's breakdown video of it, and I just want to mention that really quick. One question that he had, which I completely agree with, is that okay? We saw the big PK Subban signature one-time shot. Now, is that going to be specific to PK Subban, or is my third line, third pair defenseman going to be able to wind up with that same shot? You know, if the answer is no, that they can't do that, I think it'll make it more rare, obviously, but I think it'll make it cooler. It'll make it more of a spectacle. And then just sort of really quick, like one thing that people in the hockey like community always complain about is that the NHL doesn't have a lot of popularity, in part because they don't exactly market their stars well. And I think this kind of touches on that. So I'm hoping that this sort of leads to the NHL kind of marketing their stars better. Because like I was saying, with the signature shots being specific to Ovechkin, Stamkos, Subban, Austin Matthews, you're going to see those specific players become even more so of a household name. And I think you'll get more people interested. You'll get more people wanting to use, for example, those cards in Hockey Ultimate Team, more people wanting to play with those guys in franchise mode or in online versus or what have you. And I think it'll be cooler to see, but to the large part of it, like by and large, you're just going to still see normal shots, which personally I'm fine with. Like, I like the aesthetics, but it's not a huge selling point to me. At least it was signature shots type stuff. So I think it'll be cool when it happens, but obviously, if it only happens so often, I don't know if that makes it cooler or less cool because you won't see it as often. But then with the contextual shots, like you were mentioning, um, I I like and agree with and struggle to find out why this part wasn't already in the game, like I've seen other people say. Um, but again, I don't want to harp on the past. Why can't we just be glad it's going to be in the game now? Um, it's so realistic to understand that if you're off balance, your shot's going to be weaker and less accurate, or if you're set up, you know, kind of stationary, kind of turret like, or like Ovechkin on the power play, you're going to have a better chance to get off a better shot. There was a clip of a Philadelphia Flyer. I think it was Drew. Could have also been Konechny or Patrick. It was a right-handed player, but um, they specifically took a couple like stutter steps to adjust their positioning as the pass was coming and set themselves up better for the one-timer that they were about to take, which I think is also going to be huge. You mentioned to me before we started recording that it seemed that a lot of one-time shots are going in, and it makes sense. It's a great way to score both in and out of the game, the video game that is. And I think it'll be even better this year. Not necessarily more effective. Well, actually, Yeah, exactly, more effective. I think EA acknowledging, like, live in the trailer, some of the awful animations that 19 had with picking up the puck and shooting really awkwardly. I think the fact that they're acknowledging that and showing us that they acknowledge that, that part gives me high hopes that they've really honed in on that and been able to focus and really change that part of the game, which I'm really excited for. Obviously, you and I playing together EASHL or online versus, we are both just freaking turrets from the opposite face-off circles waiting for each other to pass across for a one-timer, which is fantastic. But I think this will set up better for situations like that, which I'm super pumped about.
Yeah, like you said, another big thing that we kind of touched on a couple times now, that EA actually acknowledged that something they put in the game was terrible, which was like mind blowing to me when I first heard it. I mean, I watched it a couple times before I called it today, but just wow. I mean, they acknowledge that they screwed up, and they kind of, it's also a good thing because they know their problems, and it seems like they're trying to fix that. So hopefully everything they worked on this year will be as good as it seems, but it is EA, it is the NHL franchise, and you can't really take this stuff too literally. So I'm probably going to wrap it up here, Chris, unless you got something else you want to talk about.
No, I just, like I said, overall, I'm excited for it. I know people are going to have their reservations. Like I said, I have some as well. But I think they showed me enough to get me excited for the game. I saw a couple people on Twitter, which was my first mistake, I know, say that they didn't, something about like the updated mechanics not really being a primary selling point for the game, which I'm still struggling to understand, because don't you want them to fix the mechanics that they acknowledge were broken for the new game? To me, that's a huge selling point, not a non-factor. So that part I didn't understand. But like I said, overall, I am excited for the game to come out. I'm still reserved because, the pre-order, like the deal they have, ends 2 days after they show this trailer. We haven't heard a lot of deep dive information, which I don't remember exactly when it's been released in the past. So I'm kind of holding off for a little bit. I know I'm going to pre-order the game at some point because it's one of the like 3 games that I play. But the question I have is, when am I going to be actually enticed to buy this game? Like I said, I'm excited after seeing this trailer despite my few reservations, but I'm still not ready to click confirm purchase on a pre-order for NHL 20 quite yet. I want to see a couple more deep dives before I can click that button.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. This game comes out September 13th. We're going to have, well, I don't know if they've announced it yet, but they're probably going to have a beta, I would assume.
We hope.
Yeah, we hope, basically. And like you said, I mean, we got to see a little bit more. Like, yeah, okay, we got these new couple of things here. We got a couple things new here. You acknowledge you changed some stuff. But what exactly? Like, let me see the actual, like, yeah, it's official gameplay trailer, but it's like highlights. Like, show me what the actual game looks like. Like you said, we're going to order it probably no matter what. But you shouldn't have it so there's a sale, what would it be, like 4 months or something before it actually comes out? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, show us a little bit more. Like, by this time on most games where we're like 8 months into it, like, we've already kind of seen what the next game's going to be, and you're going to decide on if you want to buy it or not. So, like you said, hopefully it comes true, but we still have our reservations on a lot of these key points. But anyway, guys, thank you, Chris, for coming on with, not short notice, but thanks for coming on and, talking about NHL 20 with me. Any last thoughts here?
Oh man, I'm good. Like I said, excited for the game, and thanks for having me in the video.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want to come back and talk about stuff, we're going to talk about some more stuff here soon, hopefully. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.